Alright, so I came across this thing on my feed where someone was saying that misandry is not a real issue and doesn't kill men, and I think we need to talk about this. I mean, I think it's kind of hard to claim that misandry is not a systemic issue when men make up 40% of all domestic violence victims, mostly at the hands of women, and yet we only have two domestic violence shelters in America for men. And also, the Duluth model is written in a way where a woman's not going to be seen as a perpetrator in the eyes of police and judge training for domestic violence. I think it's hard. I think it's hard to claim that misandry is not a systemic issue um, when men are equally likely to be raped by women as women are by men, and yet rape laws literally do not recognize female perpetrators of rape as even existing. For any confusion, see the last video I made. I think it's I think it's hard to claim that misandry is not a systemic issue when 50% more girls than boys graduate every year, and also most dropouts are boys. I think it's hard to claim that misandry isn't systemic when, in the United States, a woman's legally allowed to sue a man for child support even if that child was created via methods of sexually assaulting said man, or through any kind of criminal activity. I think it's hard to claim systemic misandry doesn't exist when 80% of child custody cases end with the mother getting primary or sole custody. And before you guys say that men get it when they just act, this was just one singular study based on temporary custody that took place in a minority state where temporary custody is the standard. Like, this is the only study that has that claim. And even in this same study, it finds that when mothers seek for primary or sole custody, they get it 73.8 to 95% of the time. Even the study where your guys' claims come from shows that women still get primary custody more when they seek it. And your claim that fathers get custody when they ask for it is just one singular cherry-picked line in this study. I just want to end this by saying I do not believe feminists belong in left-wing spaces. Feminism has been shown to be an increasingly more right-leaning movement every single time it pops up, and pretending that it's not some sort of right-leaning movement is how do you do that? I mean, you've seen this movement's actions, right? I mean, you've seen that it's advocating for rape laws that don't affect women. It's advocating against building more shelters for men. It's advocating against fathers' rights in family court. You saw that Hermes Man versus Sayer article. I mean, I do not know what to say. Like, they're straight up denying systemic misandry when there's tons of evidence out there to the contrary. Oh, and about IPV murder. Like, there's that one claim that 60% of female murder victims and 11% of male murder victims are victims of IPV murder. What they don't realize is that 20% of all murder victims are women, while 80% of them are men. So let's do some. Starting with the women's side of things, 20% of all women are murder victims. Let's times that with the 60% of IPV of female murder victims that are IPV murder victims, according to feminist claims. And then you'll find that 12% of all murder victims are women that are victims of IPV. Now let's do the men's thing. 80% of all murder victims are men. And apparently, according to feminists, 11% of male murder victims are victims of IPV murder. And when you do the math, this is almost 9%. Which means for every 100 murder victims, 12 of them are women that are victims of IPV, and 9 of them are men that are victims of IPV. 12 plus 9 is 21. So let's do some simple statistics, okay? 12 divided by 21, 0.57. 57% of IPV murder victims are women. 9 divided by 21. Let's round this to 0.43 with the 8 at the end. 43% of all IPV murder victims are men. And this is not a gendered issue. And before you say, oh, it's all men that are doing this, please explain why gay men are the ones that are least likely to commit domestic violence in the first place, which theoretically should translate to domestic murder as well. feminists, please don't pretend to claim that you're for gender equality, and please just leave left-wing spaces because you do not belong there. It's one thing to advocate for women's rights. It's another thing entirely to believe like flawed narratives like men are naturally privileged and have all their rights, and to actively advocate against um, troubled helping troubled men. Please just bring your bigotry somewhere else, okay?